September 28th, 2019. For the last 2 years, Mojang had been hosting Minecon as a live stream instead of their usual in-person events, though the contents of these events never changed. They would consist of creator panels, developer chats, and, of course, the new update reveal. From the 1.13 Aquatic update in 2017 and the 1.14 Village and Pillage update the year after, everyone was eager to know, what was the next big update?
So you said this is part of the next update, which is...
Yeah, we're super excited to finally have a Nether update.
Ooh, the Nether update.
As most of you know by now, this was the 1.16 Nether update, and it would become one of the biggest, most important updates they've ever released. The story of the Nether is much more complicated than it seems on the surface, and to get a better understanding of it, we have to go back. Specifically to Java Edition InDev 0.31. This version of Minecraft spawned a little thing called map themes. Map themes affected game mechanics, such as mob spawning and the surrounding liquid on the map. One of these 4 map themes was called Hell. It was a simple map, with less lighting, lava instead of water, grass was replaced with dirt, and there was an abundance of mushrooms. These map themes were later removed in the InDev version of Minecraft, but Hell would make a return, and in the Alpha V 1.2.0 preview 7 months later, it did. As a new dimension that would transport you through the overworld 8 times faster. For the next 10 years the Nether was officially released, it would only be majorly updated a handful of times, the biggest of which was the 1.0 Adventure update, and introduced some of the Nether mobs you know today, including blazes and magma cubes. This update also introduced Nether fortresses, but the next update was about to change everything. On June 23rd, 2020, the 1.16 Nether update was released, with a massive amount of new content to explore. If I listed the full changelog, this video would be 40 minutes long, so I'm not going to do that. Here's what's important. We welcomed 4 brand new biomes to the Nether: the Basalt Deltas, Crimson Forest, Soul Sand Valley, and the Warped Forest. For the first time, you could harvest wood, build a house, and even respawn in that house with a brand new respawn anchor. A new structure called the Bastion Remnant was introduced that housed valuable loot and mountains of gold. You could barter with piglins for some useful items, and even walk on lava with striders. And the biggest addition of all, for the first time since the game's release, you can have tools and armor more powerful and more efficient than diamond. A brand new mineral called netherite was introduced to the game, and of course, to be stronger than diamond, netherite also had to be harder to get, only spawning with lava or blocks surrounding it. To a normal player, these changes are pretty significant, but to a speedrunner, prior to the 1.16 update, the random seed glitchless speedrun category was ran by trading with villagers for emeralds and then emeralds for ender pearls. When the 1.16 update first released, it took a bit of trial and error to find out what strategies saved the most time. The first ever 1.16 RSG world record was set by Benex, with a time of 24:32. At the time of writing this, the RSG world record is set by Brentilda with a mind-blowing time of 9:36. This time shatters the first world record by 14 minutes and 56 seconds, and also marks the first sub 10-minute speedrun. To get a little more insight on how the 1.16 update affected speedrunning, I thought it'd be best to ask an actual speedrunner. So, this is JR. At the time of writing this, he's the current hard mode world record holder. And he also happens to be a content creator too, so I encourage you to check him out. His link is in the description.
It really gave the Nether this whole like new eye opener. And then once people started to get their hands on like bastions and such, bastion routes, we figured out the type of bastions, and then we realized the gold was in there and the piglins. It was just this whole, whoa, this changes everything. What makes it so crazy is that there was a category split. 1.16 was combined with like all the other versions for like only a month until people realized how beneficial and how different 1.16 was compared to all the other versions. Personally, I know I didn't do 1.14 speedruns as often. I did them for like a couple months, and then 1.16 came out, so I was like right at the end of that version. I'd say it affected like very heavily, but it's been very fun for sure. Everyone was like so interested in it after they realized how widely popular speedrunning was becoming. There was a lot of exposure for the community, and then a new version dropped, which like changed everything and gave a lot of new members like a chance to really experience it for the first time. I think a lot of people, when they first thought of like Minecraft speedruns back in the day, they were intimidated because of how like complicated it was. 1.7 speedruns. The strats to like get to the world record or like get like top 10 are so complicated compared to 1.16. In my opinion, if you watch like Illumina's world record in 1.7, I could not understand a single thing that's going on. But that's what made it so unique with 1.16. It was a new slate for a lot of people, and it just lined up perfectly.
Because of this update, it just became a lot easier to survive later on in hardcore. You can go live in the nether if you'd like, you'll never need to worry about gold again, and most importantly, one of the best music discs in the game was introduced. Look, the point is, one of the most fundamental parts of Minecraft was completely revamped and caused a landslide of positive side effects. This update brought life to the part of Minecraft only filled with death. Before this update, most players would only go to the nether for blaze rods at most and feel like they've seen all of it. Now, players have reasons to go back and explore far after they've beaten the game. And for speedrunners, this was an update so massive it had to be separated from earlier version categories, and the slate was wiped completely clean. This update was a refresher for Minecraft veterans and gave new players an even better reason to jump in. And while the Caves and Cliffs update promises to be even more substantial than the Nether update, as it stands today, the Nether update is one of the most important updates in Minecraft's 12-year history.